Hey everybody, this is Skaja Evens. I'm here tonight with Kevin and Hibshman and John Patrick Robbins, and they have just come out with a new split chapbook called Lost Within the Garden of Heathens. Welcome guys, how's it going?
Oh, good. Hi, Skaja. Nice to hear your voice.
Yeah, you too.
It is. It's lovely. It's very nice. It's very sexy tonight, Kevin. Thank you. I like hearing your voice too. Oh, you're talking to Sky. Never mind.
Sorry, John.
I'm very sexy tonight too. I wear a ball gown tonight, just so you know. You know.
Well, you got fancy it up when you're going to read some poetry, so.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so this is the second book you guys have done together. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep. It's the second one, and it kind of came together. The first one we did together was John's idea, and then this one I kind of wanted to do. So there you go.
Well, I did the cover, and it's goddamn immaculate.
And I posted.
You did. You did. We were going to keep that secret, Kevin.
I know,
can't
but
give away all our secrets at the press.
I was very proud of my snake handling on that.
You did well. I mean, Scott was supposed to do it, but he chickened out at the last minute because he's scared of the black mamba.
He's all tall.
He's all tall. Jesse was going to do it, but Jesse said the snake wasn't big enough. I mean, he's got some things going on.
You might be a metaphor for something.
Yeah.
So, okay, so before we dive into the reading, I do want to ask, because I know John, from talking to him, likens books to albums, and this is the second book you guys did, so was it, easy to do the second album, a little difficult? How'd that come about?
Kevin, you might want to answer that.
Okay. For me, this one was a little difficult for me, because the whole thing was kind of during a weird period. Like, I had started it, and it was going to be, John was interested. John asked me, it's time you put another one of your books out. And I'm the one that's, I want to do a split again. How do you feel about that? And he's like, oh yeah, we'll do that. And then I had fallen and broken my ankle on the way to work last February, right when I had just started this manuscript. And so, it was kind of good in a way, because it gave me something to look forward to. It gave me something to do, but I was in a very depressed state of mind. But then again, that state of mind often works well for me. So luckily, hopefully it did. Right?
Yeah, man, it was, it's funny how this book came about, because you were kind of man, you talk about being confined. I mean, you went through hell, man, with your accident. And I have to say, Kevin, I was very impressed. So next time we do one, I'm going to hit you with a car, because it's gold.
Okay. Yeah. Just leave me in a body cast, and I'll just have someone dictate. I'll dictate to someone.
Scott will come there, and he'll tickle your feet, because he's a very strange person. He has a foot fetish. A lot of people don't know that. But no, it was a very interesting book. I mean, because I love The Mirror Mask Nothing. That was for me, because I was going through a lot of hell, and it was a really freeing experience and everything else. And all jokes aside, man, that was a really fun book to do. And it did seem like doing a follow-up took forever, but I mean, it was kind of just the right time, right? It was time to do one. So yeah, and it was great. So there you go.
Yeah, I've had many opportunities to read the book, and it's a really solid job, guys. It's really great. So I dive in and guys, do some reading.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will start out with one. This is unfortunately a true story. and this person did die. And it's called One Last Happy Meal Before Meeting the Lord. A face full of fries in the rearview mirror, ketchup on the dashboard, those yellow wrappers strewn about in abandon like you had planned one last takeout gorging, a fast food orgy for all eternity to remember you by. It was pure poetry in someone's twisted mind. I didn't want to believe that it could have been intentional. You seemed happy, but who knows what went on in your head. What was lurking behind the childlike apparition you wore? Those pop star crushes. They laughed behind your back. You were supportive and you were kind, but when is that ever enough? The world is a bully. It will mess you up. You turn to words and flights of fancy. No idea how to survive out there where the sharks circulate and must feed daily on the blood of the innocent. You were my friend, and I was yours. They found the awful circumstances quite amusing, as of course they would. Perhaps one day you'll be able to supply me the curious details of your untimely death. You left us only the pickles and the onions.
Excellent.
That was
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was actually a small press publisher that I knew way back when I first started in the early 90s. And, I never, we don't really know. We just know that it involved a car accident and McDonald's food, and that's about all we know. So, but, thanks guys.
Now, well, I'm sorry for your loss there. That's an excellent, it's excellent, right, man. That was one that, spoke to me because of course I saw the manuscript first and I was blown away, man. But then again, I mean, I got a question for you on that. Being kind of like confined where you were, man, did it just kind of like, it really opened you up? It sounds weird, but did it open you up more? Cause you're just like, cause you were going through a lot of hell. Like people may not know, but man, when you messed your ankle up, like, you were going through a lot, so
we had just moved. Right, we had just moved to a new town. Don't know anyone. I had to get a new job, and luckily I got one. But I think so. I think I was missing my family. I'd lived close to them for most of my life, and then I'm only an hour away. But due to circumstances, they might as well be the moon. So I was really with that, and I wanted to move really badly, and I'm glad I did. But at the time, it was a little heartbreaking, and so I broke my ankle, and I'm sitting up there in my room, not being able to sleep at night, and just totally. And but I think what it did for me was it made me, your mind starts to drift, and I started thinking about other people that had gone through worse, or people that I knew, and I think a lot of us can probably relate to that in some way, who hasn't experienced loss of some kind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's an excellent ride, man. It really is.
Thank you.
It is top shelf, as I would say, and everybody would copy. No. You know me, I have to be the insulting one. I'm the prick of the group. But, okay. I'm going to read a bunch that probably won't even be in the book. I'm just giving you a heads up. But that's the way I do things because I want you to buy the book. You only get a couple from me because I'm an asshole. But, let me read one now I'm assuming I'm supposed to read one. But, who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is called Confessions Receipt. I'm avoiding myself, so you must forgive me if I do not reply to strangers. The realm of reality is such an uncomfortable place to be. We all lose something as apparently I bid farewell to my mind, an internal cremation. Only fragments of cinder remain. I startled you and damn near killed myself. In my thoughts resurrection, embers betrayed, truths buried alive. Can you suspend the horrors that await the page's turn? Can you erase the memory I myself cannot recall? That's the end of that one. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I like that one. I have read that one, and it kind of ranks with my favorites if I could pick one in this book.
No. Well, Dad, I'm going to say something. Like, when you handed me, because that's, if people don't know, and maybe there's an interest, but maybe, who knows, when you always hand me your file, it's like, it's kind of like that's just how we work. Like, I
Yeah,
think I've been asked a couple times, like, do we pass stuff back and forth? I think we did so more with the mirror. With this one, it was like, here's mine, and then I kept mine in secret because you handed me such solid work that I was blown away, and you know that because I told you. And so it was like, I don't know, man. This was a different book. It really was. So,
I think
you know.
But yeah, I do. I like your confessional tone, anyways, because it
Mm-hmm.
always. I think like a lot of us really like when it's real, or when we know that the author is sharing something that happened to them. Then you can relate. You know what I mean? Yes. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, man, but you're the same way. You are that sentimental and confessional style that it complements one another. So yeah, man. So let's.
Yeah, I read The Mirror Mask Nothing when it came out, but I didn't really know either of you that well at that point, and I was just blown away. And then just watching the growth over the last couple of years, it's a solid piece of work.
Oh, thank you, Skaja. I appreciate that. Coming from a fellow writer, yeah, I always appreciate that. It's great. It's nice to hear.
There, you're the host. Now you have to crack the whip on the writers. I want mine cracked, extra sexy, but like
extra sexy, a little bit more.
extra, I like the cat of nine tails. I want to make it hurt. I'm being bad, P. I'm sorry.
Well,
I can say it.
Trial by fire, I guess. I mean, we are kind of fly by the seat of our pants with this thing anyway. So.
I think it's great. So it's like, you're the host. I think you have to tell Kevin, you read it good.
Yeah, you did an excellent job. Read
no,
some more.
I mean, yeah, read some more.
Okay, this next one, if we're ready, I'm going to do this one next because it's actually another person who only recently passed away, but who was from that very same time period of my early beginnings and all of that, the zine world and such. And this is called The Legend of Bobby Starr, a belch heard near and far. He was a product of his time. It was not a privileged life he inherited. He hit a winning formula, mixing survivalist humor with camp, a mix-up of Jackie Gleason and the Marquis de Sade. He was a poet on the constant verge of a nervous breakdown. He was in lust with all of the male writers he published. He showed up on my doorstep once, but thankfully I was out. He was easier to appreciate from a distance. His zines were laced with stills from porno films. His poems were alive, spicy vignettes from a lively and unforgiving past. He was an outlaw, a swashbuckler in his dreams each night. He was a study in contradiction like many artists are. We laughed with him and loved him for the man-child he was. He fought long and hard against ever-mounting odds. He flayed his mark, and some of us have lived to tell about it. And that's all very true. Was a real dude, but he was a friend of mine. But he was wow. When people call people pieces of work, he was a piece of work.
It's a great write, man.
He really was. He was. Yeah, thank you.
Aren't all? Yeah, all artists are crazy, man. If you're not crazy, you're not an artist.
Yeah,
isn't that the truth? So it does beg the question. Since now you've read two pieces about people who have died, is like, do you tend with the sentimentality of writing about people who have had an impact that aren't with us anymore?
Yeah, Actually, yeah, I do like to do that because I think that anybody that's ever crossed my path or helped me out in some way, or even if we've had a few kind words exchanged between us, they that's so important, and it doesn't happen to me every day. So I never can forget those people. I'll never forget any of those people, and I think they should be remembered because, to me at least, they contributed a lot. While they were here. And then one thing too, like I find imagery comes to me easier if it's a person that I knew. Like I can, since I know their backstory somewhat, I can get into it and hopefully make the piece more alive for the reader.
Yeah, I totally get that. There's a piece that I wrote a couple of years back about someone who was very, very important to me, and then I read that, and it's like, it was just like yesterday. It feels like yesterday. I was just talking to them, and they've been talking for a long time.
Yeah. That's a great statement, Skaja. It does seem like it's only yesterday, and then you can sort of, even if it's a little painful or maybe bittersweet, it's kind of nice that you want something to remember and to hold on to, and I feel like you kind of get that when you write a piece about them. It's there forever.
Yeah, I actually just made the comment the other day or probably the other week, that people who die, they're not really gone if we remember them.
That's right. Yeah. I agree. I think that's a nice statement. I think that's a really nice thing. Yeah.
Well, that's the gift that we have, and definitely a gift that you have, man. You know how to touch the heartstrings, man. You're very good at that. You can cut through all the bullshit. There's no pretension in that, and I that's why I admire your work. So
thank you. But one quick thing, I find that I do better. Like all of my stuff seems to be rooted in emotion most of the time. I just can't. That's how I come at it. You know what I mean? Like I can't really. I'm not really an intellectual. I can't come at it that way all the time. But if it strikes me emotionally, then I can usually get something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I would say that you are an intellectual, man. I just respect your work. Always have. Anybody knows that talks to me, and just like, so that's a really great write, man.
Let me just say,
you have that quality of the beats too. That's another thing I like. And that's what I know we both have a love for the beats. So it's like,
Yeah, we do. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, thanks. Right. And I do appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to give you, being y'all want deep cuts, I'm going to do, this is not from the book, because I want you fuckers to buy it out there listening. And, not because I'm trying to be a smart ass, it's just that's the way I do things. Anybody knows. This is who knows where this will end up. This is my life. It's called, White Trash, Wasted Land. There's not much hope where I come from, let alone happiness. It's strangled out amongst the pines on a hot summer day, as dreams are beaten out of you, kicked senseless like an old dog that begs for scraps at some family picnic. I've seen nightmares outsourced and pregnant crystal meth strippers. I've seen people of a shunned face of America's truest black eye. The drunks wrinkled up, left out in the sun, sipping beers as the frogs and crickets keep steady rhythm in the background. The kids whose parents are just happy they got a job instead of an inmate's number. I've seen houses that resemble some Hollywood movie's version of an apocalypse. I've seen the bleak face of today that doesn't entertain a dream of tomorrow. I've seen the true face of addiction staring back at me in the mirror. Eventually, I hope to go blind to reality, like the yuppies who view my pages and cast judgment, mired in hate they call privilege of social standing. I've known the emptiness of delusion and the truth of an empty stomach. I've always understood reality, for my kind never could afford the privilege money can only attain. I see nothing that resembles hope, but I most certainly count the days and sunsets as clear as the burnt red skies just under very different conditions, all the same as you. That's the end of that one.
Okay, well, let me just say that I'm jealous of that one. Damn it!
Well, now to you. Like, you gotta grow up and, like, get drugged behind a car, get the shit kicked out of you. We can arrange this, Kevin. I'm gonna have you come down to my camp, my writer's retreat.
I'll tell you what, though, I like the way, that one to me says just about everything. I mean, that's just about everything. So I'm a little jealous.
Dude, I'm not reading it it's not because I don't want to read Writes in the book. You just know how I am. I like to do a different kind of thing. And like you all know on the inside, I had 2 nights of, let's just call it, I took a break in my drinking because I had some other shit to do, and I did 2 books, and that was one of the first ones that, came out. And that to me is and it just describes where I grew up in my life. It's not, that's just how, when you say, like, you got to feel something to be there, and it's what it is, man. So anyways.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
First of all, bravo. But I just love the way that one reads, and I'm in love with the imagery and the way that you just, like, I don't know how to explain that, but it says everything to me.
I like it, man. It's one of my favorites, but sometimes it's unfortunate you have to live those fucking things, and I think it's like as our little annoying brother, I was telling him, like, you don't need workshops, you need life, you need experience, and sometimes that experience is not good. I think poetry got to get kicked in the ass a little bit. I don't know any poet who, if they didn't go through some bullshit in life, then they're not going to be worth a crap. If your life's been all sunshine and rainbows, and whatever. Anyways.
It makes a lot of sense. I found that to be true with a lot of things. That if you haven't gone through some things, when things happen and you don't have the built up resilience for it, then what? And it's always people who have been through some shit that you can relate to them better.
Yeah. Yeah. There was this quote by someone, and I can't remember who it was. It might have been a rock musician, but they said, people that haven't experienced pain are just boring to me. And I just love that, Yeah,
it's the truth, man.
Yeah, there are those moments where someone who's never had a reason to go to therapy tells you should go to therapy because it'll make you feel better, and it's like you can't relate to my experience, so how can I relate back? And like I said, people who've been through things, like you find that little piece, and it's like, I might not have gone through the same stuff you went through, but we both went through things.
Yes, very well.
Some kindred spirits going on there.
Yeah, wholeheartedly agree.
Now. I think the ball's in your court, man. I'm having a blast. I know that. I hope everybody who listens to this has a blast. I'm actually reading okay tonight. That's okay. I think the heavy drugs and drinking have really helped. So if you're a kid out there, smoke lots of cigarettes, do lots of drugs, and save money and don't use condoms. You're going to become a hell of a writer.
Well, that's a public service announcement. Kids, don't do that. Unless you have supervision.
Yes, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Everybody expects me to act bad, but come on now. Let's keep I'm having fun now. We know who's next on the reading.
Okay, so Kevin, one that isn't about someone who died.
No, this is not going to be about someone who died. I don't want to bring too far down there, get stuck on one thing there. But this is actually I'm following John's lead here. This is not from the book. This is from a book I did. This is a book I did years ago called Poets and Alchemists. It was actually another split where this one editor, she had about 4 of us contribute, and I have a couple pieces in it, but this one's called Dionysus Pan. Okay. I sense him, electric animal. I walk through the clearing, feeling visited upon. Something primitive still survives, smoldering beneath my skin. Raw, ribald, ancient hunger, a wish to follow what was once natural, not question. Before the animal is forced to recede, I feel the need to bleed it. Beautiful beast, orgiastic foe, meet me in the middle of a musty summer's alley, aglow with intoxication, lilacs and whiskey breath, counting uneven steps, purgatory of bliss. I got stoned, put the headphones on, rode in leather, wriggled in neon, smiled wide like a satyr, welcoming danger, picking through the relics of a so-called civilized age, though the animal that sleeps behind the skin has yet to be tamed, and lust sickness pervades despite all efforts to shave your demonic grace from my soul. That's it.
Damn.
Yeah. Though I felt that one kind of went well with where John was heading with his lifestyle.
Okay, come on.
That's just, they're gonna take a second. Just kind of like the flow of the words and like the melody of them that draws you in.
Yeah, it's a good. That's where you get that. Man, that's one thing that I think anybody can respect is that you can obviously see your influences, the beats definitely, and but I also know you're a huge fan of Diane DeCrema. So
Yes.
who was, yeah.
Well, you know, I think I started my poetry came out of just writing rock lyrics. I was like a kid and I wanted to write just cool rock lyrics. And then, you know, Patti Smith happened to me and that just furthered that, right? And I think with that one too, you can tell like that's kind of rock and roll in a way, don't you think? Like it almost sounds like lyrics in a sense.
It has a rhythm, you know, that it just has a it's, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I can't explain it. Like, people will get it, you either get it or you don't get it. But you do have that cadence, you know, so it does, it works, man, but I'm a fan of the work. I'm having fun. This is a good time, man. That's why you know you're a writer. If you're a writer, this is like a blast. And I do like our host that we planned this out in advance. I mean, it was like, I think within an hour.
Next time.
No, it was about 5 minutes.
Well, that just shows your professionalism. I'm very proud of you. It shows you at Whiskey City we are improv masters. We're like jazz and.
You know what we have to do?
Yeah, it's a. Can you do this right now? Sure, I'm doing nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, you know what, I really want to read deep cuts. I'm not into reading humor. People get pissed at me. So if I don't read humor, they're like, oh no, you know, you know, I'm funny enough when I talk in between. It's like, you know, I don't know if y'all felt the room one, but I did. But okay. Maybe I'm alone.
I love the multifacetedness of writers who can go from in the different genres. You know, and I know John and I, you and I have talked about this a lot with bands, especially like ones that have a varied and long career. They've done their like emo rock phase, and they kind of get into some like mellower stuff and then harder stuff, and it's just like this vast thing. It speaks to a lot of people, but some fans are like, oh, I only like this little subset, and other fans are like, I love everything just because it's them.
Oh yeah, that's me. I'm one of them people.
There you go. Well,
and I've been a big fan of the work since I met both of you. So,
I guess I'm supposed to read some humor now. I think the humor part has come up to the show. So it's like,
Well,
God damn it.
like
Yeah.
the token humor. I mean, read the deep cuts if you want to.
Well, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
Kevin,
all
what do
for
you
it.
think?
Yes, I say do what you want to do and let's go.
Okay, well, that doesn't help. It's like, do you want humor or do you want, I know, you know what? I have a little something for both of you because I know you're both cat people. So
Yeah.
it's a beautiful poem. I want to dedicate it to all the pussy out there. Cause I had to use, at some point it'd be terrible and be naughty, but I hope I get a spanking after the show. At least I'm promised. I'm going to get upset if I don't get one. But, anyway, this is called The Cat Shit the Cradle. And, it's already good if you're laughing. Who gives a fuck? I sat there drinking with two fat cats, both looking at me, seemingly as detached as myself, as behind me upon the bed a naked woman snored, as I held court with my two furry companions. As the largest leapt down, to my dismay, he looked back at me as he began chewing on a cardboard box as I poured another drink, thinking to myself, well, guess the fucker needs some fiber in his non-existent diet. As a semi-smaller female lay beside me, purring happy, for no reason, and at times that is ultimately the beauty of animals. I sat there in the dark, listening to the city's odd silence outside, the drinks, a burden to maintain to keep away the shakes, the snoring soul behind me, a warm body to fill a need and share a moment in this not-so-slow decline of my waning years. The old tomcat got back up on the bed, looking at me like he wanted to say, so why are you here? It was a question I asked myself. I sat there looking at this gray and white rotund cat and pushed him off the bed for absolutely no reason aside from I am a dick and because I could. Cat looked up at me in surprise. Hey, asshole, why the hell did you do that? I was in shock as I looked at the cat. Hey, you can talk? I can't believe it. Well, you never asked, you jerk, and fuck you, he said, walking off in the open closet, for which I was a bit paranoid. Being I didn't know the fucker could talk, it was anyone's guess what else he was hiding in that closet. I drank until the sunrise, not daring to sleep. Later on, we didn't discuss our aforementioned encounter, but I don't believe he likes me very much, and I cannot blame him. Still, whenever he vanishes in that closet, I get a little bit nervous every time. Cats are a bit like serial killers. By the time you notice them, it's usually too late. I'm sleeping alone from here on out. That's the end of that one. Bravo to me.
Yes,
Wow.
bravo. I do love it. Yes, love it. I like you have like a natural, whether you're doing comedy or you're being dead serious, like you have a
Yeah.
natural storytelling ability that I envy. Stories come really hard for me if they come at all, and you can just kind of do that, and I'm jealous again, damn it.
Dude, you do connect, and you do the same thing. It's like you have that, like when you talk about your friend, that got in a car accident, it's like, there, you're not talking about cats.
I should though. I've got
Anyway,
4 of them.
let's keep it rolling, man. I'm having a great time.
All right. You want me to do something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Okay.
I mean, is it kinky, or do we have to turn off the cameras, or what?
Do we need like a parental advisory?
Can we
No.
all right. Okay. I'm going to do this one. This is from the book again. It's called The Body and the Breathing.
Mm-hmm.
I miss you deeply. They're all sleeping. My heart keeps time, the body and the breathing. My room is a jungle with bizarre creatures teeming. My blood an ocean of fire. I know I will die if I climb any higher. I am drenched in sweat. All my senses perspire. The leaves part and a pair of eyes are gleaming. Someone help me now. The body and the breathing. I went to a place I thought I was dreaming. I cannot tell of what I saw. my soul disembodied keening. It was the future stark, and it was bleeding. The catastrophic matrix of minds not meeting. It was a fire hot, so hot I wanted to be screaming, death take me now. I heard my voice pleading. I almost forgot the body and the breathing.
Mm. Man, you have that fast, man. Like that's the thing, man. You definitely don't. I'd say I'm unfiltered, but you're unfiltered as well. Because like you don't mind combining style. I mean, I'm being serious. Like for you, is it because you've been an editor and an editor of an outstanding magazine, Fearless. I mean, I was published there, so it has to be good. So that's how we met. No, man. For you, I mean, because you will combine even rhyming elements, man. And so it's like, I'm not how to phrase this because I've had a lot of drinks, but I admire that you'll do that. You don't have any rules, man. Do you ever sit there and like look at some of these editors and think, what a pompous ass? You've been doing it better than anybody, in my opinion, for a while.
Well, that's steep. I almost didn't put that one in because of the rhyming. Like the people feel different. Different people feel differently about the rhyming. And I think I don't care. Like I think if a poem rhyme, I think it has to rhyme in a special way to be really great. Mm-hmm. But I'm not saying that I think that one is. But I wasn't going to put it in. I thought, oh, that's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if I like it. It rhymes. But then I thought that, like, I couldn't do it without rhyme in it. That one just wouldn't, like, I got the title first, and I'm like, I can't do this if it doesn't rhyme. So there you go. Yeah.
The rhythm's right, man.
There are some things that work really well with the wordplay and the rhyming conventions that it's just, it pulls you along on this ride from start to end because of the rhyming.
Oh, great. Thank you, Sky. I like that.
Yeah. God, you're a way better host than me. Now I'm getting upset. This episode will be canceled.
At least not for technical difficulties.
Trust me, as soon as every egotistical jackass in the poetry scene hears it, and I don't mind saying it because I can get in trouble because I don't care about being popular, they're going to want to be on the show because I will give you an excellent host. You really are. You get it.
Thank you.
We should have done this before. You know what I mean? Why didn't we do this before? We'll just call it
I don't know, because I was trying to get you alone, and then you wouldn't take the cocktail I mixed for you. Like I told you, clearly drink this one that I may or not spiked. I mean...
Yeah, Kevin, you just didn't play along.
Yeah, you gotta play along. This is fun. It's like Dungeons and Dragons, minus the dungeons. Well, there's dungeons, but there's no dragons.
There really should be a dragon.
It really should be. I'm gonna go with a deep cut. This is not I don't know. This is a super deep cut, and I want to mention this, and I'm gonna do a little, I don't know. I'm not trying to give away, I don't talk about my life, but Kevin, you mentioned to me a long time ago, I hope it's okay to mention that, so you doing a book on my life one time, man. And I think sometimes, like I seem like I'm flippant or I don't like follow up with people, but me, I'm very private, believe it or not. Even though my style is very personal, I'm very private.
Sure.
But, yeah, and I started working on it. So it was kind of like, and this book will not be ever released until I'm gone, but that's just the truth. And I can, me, I'm a morbid ass fucking Norwegian, whatever. That's the truth about me. And this is a weird one. I kind of said I don't know if I want to read this, but it's a deep cut, and I think we have a good thing going. So let me really kill the room. This is going to kill the fuck out of the room. Then again, people will be like, yeah, this is crap. But you mentioned talk about my life, so here we go. And this is one that will appear in, like I said, a book that nobody's going to see until down the road. It's called How I Learned to Write. I was beaten unconscious at age 6, made a mockery of children and adults, was broken with the burden of an act of a sick individual. I was told I was insane. I learned to lie to keep persecution at bay. I enjoyed mutilation because pain became all I understood of love. I saw violence the way a normal child viewed Saturday morning cartoons. I learned to inflict pain to protect my sanity. I have committed every sin to fracture my non-existent soul, and in my cowardice failed at suicide, much as I have failed at life. I have lost my mind, yet others judge a person I myself do not fully understand. I hate life, yet fear death. I thirst for life, but fear humanity. So here I remain, dying slowly, to craft art that will be forgotten with my passing. My tears flow internally, for if one escaped, I would drown far more than my sorrows. I am the ocean's floor, unseen by the rarest of few, yet somehow I do exist. For art, we truly do suffer. In that one. So.
You know, that one just strikes me as somehow lovely. You know what I mean? It's coming from, you know, so deep inside that it just comes across as beautiful.
Mm.
But that's just one thing. That's only one thing I could say.
Well,
Yeah.
and I want to say, like, inspirational in a way that I've always found when people talk about the things that happen to them and I can relate to them somehow, that gives me the courage to talk about things that happen to me. And I've gotten that feedback from other people when I have talked about things that have happened to me. So the right that you just read, someone's going to hear this and it's going to give them the courage to talk about things that happen to them. And I think that it's a responsibility we have as writers that sometimes we don't realize that we can put things into words that people are afraid to say.
Yeah. That's great, Skaja. Nobody could have said that better. That's exactly it.
That was excellent, man. That was excellent. But I mean, I appreciate it. Just I'd like I said, man, you talked to me a long time ago about right, man. It's just like, I don't know. That was kind of the stuff that flowed. It wasn't like I know how to write stories. I know how to write just about anything, but like maybe not well, but I know how to write it. But I hadn't accepted it. I began working on it. Just nobody has seen it or even heard it. But it's a lot of stuff. It's a different kind of book. And whenever somebody sees it, it's completely unfiltered. You know, so you got to do that sometimes.
Yeah,
I think you got to gut yourself. You know,
sounds great. Well, I just think, I mean, you've led quite an interesting life, you know, already. And the thing and I want to go back to what Skaja just said. The thing about our responsibility is probably just that. Like, look at what I've been through. It's, you know, it's been hell and it's been high water. And then there's been some beautiful times, and then it's been back to whatever. But I think that, like, you know, I think that hopefully somebody will pick up what all three of us do and say, like, some kid in some trailer park that's like, I'm going to end my life. I hate my life. I hate this. And we'll pick up one of something that we did and say, like, oh, you know, like, I'm not the only one though. Like, you know, other people have been down and other people have suffered. Other people have felt like they don't belong anywhere, et cetera, et cetera. And you know, that is kind of the gift that we're hopefully given, you know, we're giving.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
No, definitely, man. So let's continue on the party, man. I'm having a blast. This is I'm really having to work.
It's a party. It's great, man. I'm having a blast too. Thanks, you guys.
I had a good time.
Yeah. On to the next, Kevin.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going back to I'm going back to the new book, and this is called. Since you brought her up, I'm going to read this one. It's called Letter to Diane de Prima, deceased. Yeah. Interesting enough, three of my favorite female poets, Diane, Joanne Kiger, and Julia Vinograd, all passed away within 3 years of each other, and it was kind of a drag. But I mean, they lived full lives, and they were in their 80s, so you can't really complain. But all right, letter to Diane de Prima. Greetings, Diane. I'm sitting in a sweltering room during a very hot July, once more befuddled by life. I never got the chance to tell you how important your work has been to me. It becomes sustenance when my soul is starved for meaning. It can be a balm to soothe my aching, tired brain. It fills my heart with romantic sorrow, but also inviting warmth. It has aided me in a lifelong search for purpose. I have only words to offer, and they are not always strong currency. You are more than my favorite poet. I cannot emulate your life, but I can admire your heroic fight for truth, for beauty, despite any and all consequences. I have never formally dedicated my life to poetry the way you did as a child, but it turns out that if I'm to leave any kind of legacy, it will be the legacy of trying to further the language in some way. We live in strange times. There are those who wish to take us back to a past that was not free, not inclusive. They are hiding in plain sight behind the veil of a civic religion that no benevolent God would recognize. We strive in poetry, meeting the indifference of the swarm. Corruption is law and big, big business. I don't know how we will ever bring it down. The science fiction of the past has become the present as we steel ourselves against a dystopian future. Your revolutionary letters are more relevant than ever. It is left to the younger generations to preserve human dignity, the right to be free, to ride the edge where any true artist thrives. You drafted useful documents illustrating how to accomplish all of this, and for that and your unwavering generosity, I thank you greatly. That's it.
You annoy me because you can read perfectly, man. You don't make a mistake, and I'm like,
How dare you not trip up your words, Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, you guys.
Sometimes there's a lot of truth in that, man. Society, there's a lot of truth in that. A lot of truth. So, excellent work, man. Excellent work.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I wish I could have met her. I would have liked to have met her, but I do have a book or two that she autographed. No, I mean,
really?
I wasn't. Yeah. I bought them that way. Like I wasn't there to have in person or anything. But it's still cool to have it.
Yeah. I've actually have a friend that actually published her. I actually got the honor of publishing some of her work. So that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Cool.
Outstanding writer. Really. So, excellent work. I guess that means mine is next. I'm gonna read something nice. We have to read something that goes all there. I have to read about butterflies and rainbows and things. People said that the apocalypse is near now.
I thought that was your sign that you're being kidnapped.
Yes, so that's my sign. Wait, I'm being held against my will at a poetry reading. No, it's only when I run out of liquor that I get upset. Then I go crazy, and then it's like, uh-oh. Anyway, this is a little quick and slick one. I'm having a really good time, but I don't want to hog anything. In my work, I'm long-winded. Trust me, I know that. But anyway, I'm like foghorn, leghorn, except I'm a human, But well, you see, son. Anyway, this is called Within the Mist. Men have sailed unto their deaths, losing their souls along with their minds, as I have killed my hopes of tomorrow's promise. Yet I linger in a paradise of temptation within the warmth of your arms. I cannot unsteady the course, but a man's soul is an island unto itself. His thoughts a fortress, often best left unshared. I plead my love with my demise. This we hold together, a burden eternal. The gods grasp the unknown. I linger only in the sadness of my promise never to return. Yet forever with you my heart shall remain. As you walk along the ocean shoreline, you forever shall walk with me. Listen to that one. That's the kind you put out there, Jen.
Oh, I like
You like
that. Yes, I like that. Felt that.
a little bit of Norse stuff, and also that's when you want to get lucky. That's what I learned a long time ago in school, and it never worked on the teachers. That's why I had to hit them up in the head with a brick. But don't follow my actions, children. That was a different time when we didn't tell everything. We weren't all tattletales. I love getting in trouble. It's so much fun. No, that's what I love. I say I'll write this deep shit, and then I'll be like, then I'll act like a jackass, and people are like, "Oh, fuck him." I don't give a shit. Anyways, I don't know why I'm not so popular. I mean,
Hard to say, right?
But you put together such heartfelt pieces. There's some writes that you've done that I've read, and it's like, if there's ever like, I'm at a loss for words. It's just like a romance to it.
He has
the kind of thing that's like a grand gesture of something that just put into this piece, and it's like you just want to get lost in it.
thank you.
Yeah, you have a couple that really. I know one made me cry. The last time we did a show with Michael, you read that just broke me down, and I'm like, a minute ago I was laughing. So that's pretty powerful.
What I do. I make you cry. I break down your vulnerability shield, and then what happens afterwards is our business. I'm just saying. That's why nobody wants to be on a show with me. They get upset, and that's why I can't go to the Midwest anymore, Kevin, because sexual harassment is frowned upon there, not in the South. Because we look at like a family reunion like Tinder. I'm just saying, who needs Tinder when I have the family reunion? Because I mean, my cousin has great tits. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna put it out there for everybody to understand. They're like, wow, John's a real true Southerner. No, I'm joking. I'm kidding. It was my second cousin, so it's perfectly okay. And Skaja's like, wow, I'm so glad I got to have the pervert and Kevin on this show.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna like host something for the first time, you might as well just like jump in first.
You did, and you're very good at that, Sky. You are completely unfazed. You're totally with it, professional, and yeah, that's pretty good. That's admirable.
Well, my life is I'm not easily surprised, not easily offended, but I also talk to John fairly often, so I'm kind of inoculated.
You like Scott, except Scott I have to beat down literally. He's missing right now, and people are wondering where he is, but it's, you don't ask no questions. So,
right.
He's on the one with Rob Murphy. They're hiding somewhere.
Yeah, probably. Kevin, I think you should read this one. You read it good.
Okay. All right. Let me see.
Scream and look at me when you read it. That's how I like my poetry to be screamed at. I want people to scream at me when they read their poetry.
I'm sorry, I am not going to do that.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. That's not like a cartoon character. I'm sorry.
I'm not going to be able to if you keep making me laugh. What happened earlier is going to happen again. All right.
Okay.
This one is lighthearted, and I wasn't going to use this one either. But I'm kind of glad I did because, like I think Skaja actually said this too. Like we all have different emotions, different facets, different styles and stuff. So anyway, this is more lighthearted. It's called Crane. All right, childless, surrounded by cats. She laughs as she turns another card over. Smelling of herbs, she flits through her kitchen, passing to stir something brewing in a deep cast iron pot. She offers me a special tea, and I notice the air has a slight charge to it. Her abode gleams with polished relics collected on many travels. There are faded tapestries and soft pillows everywhere. She has always loved my poetry, and asked me if I am working on anything. I smile and reply that my mind moves slower now. She gleamed with the spirit of enchantment, which is one I strive to hold. I asked her if she misses not having a man around, and again she cackles and replies, I haven't found the right love potion yet. I've actually been privileged enough to know a few real witches, and I think
that's some interesting story right there.
Yeah, I'm not including the two of you, but Scott's the real witch, but yeah, but like I think that to composite sort of some of those types of people that I've come across, here and there. So.
Yeah. No, that's cool, right, man. That's really excellent.
I still don't really love that one, but I think I don't know. Thank you.
Dude, you did a book that, if anybody gets a book, I felt like, I don't know. There's part of me that felt like I dropped the ball. But hey, fuck it, I go for, I do whatever the hell I do.
Yeah. Right. I do the best I can with what I got at the moment. So, there you go.
And that's really all any of us can ask for anyway.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What was that?
I just want to check in with you. We're approaching the hour mark. You want to keep going or wrap it up?
We should wrap it up.
Okay. All right. I love everybody's having no fun. So, okay. I guess we'll do
fun, but I recall say someone say something about power, so I just want to check in. Keep going.
Okay. I'm having fun. I mean, I'm having a good time. I would say, everybody would just do 2 poems each, and then we'll call it a night, or how we want to do it?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna go. I have not read much from from the book, and I'm not trying to be but there's no rules to this. Okay. Well, I guess I probably should read from the book because I'm proud of the book. It's not that. I just do my own thing. Anybody know? You're lucky if you get me even like thinking. I'm amazed I have brain cells left. All right. The first one's called, Everyone's Happy, aside from those that are sad. Skipping alone to the pharmacy to refill their happy pills. Trying to avoid crashing headfirst into another semi-miserable soul. To provide a headline and some shame for the family that rather not have you know they are related. Charm bracelets to cover those sweetly savage scars. Chemical restraint. Side effects will kill you faster than cancer, but at least you will be socially acceptable or remain faded into the proverbial background. Everyone gathers and tries not to break down in plain sight when the refill doesn't go through. That trigger finger itches as a nervous twitch is most prevalent when the medical crafted junkies all become unglued without their fix. Let's all laugh together as we paint the walls with the shunned brains matter. As the asshole on nothing but Jesus simply got fed up. There are too many excuses and never enough practical reasons. The logic is subjective, but the pressure cooker is self-imposed. We're all just doing our best to avoid the crossfire, sipping drinks in the realization even the air itself can seemingly fucking kill you. Oh, happy day. And that's the end of that one. So that's a wonderful. Thank you. Try to hold your applause.
That was one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites in the book too. If I could pick one.
I'm glad you did. Yeah, well, you can pick anyone you want.
I think all my favorites, but Okay,
man. It's like I got so many that I would like to that I'd like to read. I know humor is a big thing, but fuck that crap. Nothing against humor. I kind of, it's
I'll tell you,
kind of,
that one is full of really awesome lines, but I love the one where you say, there are too many excuses and never enough practical reasons. That just really hit home for me.
No, well, that's just an opinion. It's like sometimes people, I think, get the wrong message from me. They take all the bad sides and then like you're taking the good, and there's always a message in there, but sometimes people get the wrong. It's a misconception if you don't know me or whatever, but you get it. So that's always great. I appreciate that. Okay, well, I'll go with a little deep cut. And, who knows? Maybe people like it. This is called Sundowner's Town. Her eyes view a scene of past eternal's torment, blind to all, including my presence, counting sunsets and barely hanging on. Shooting up to send off, a gamble and a soft suicide's mass delusion. I can't handle the truth, as you cannot see outside your mind's institution. I remember as you forget, and I count you lucky how very twisted is my logic. I am vanishing on purpose to adorn a mask of the junkie's facade and cowardice to feel nothing. So is the con of the self-serving fool. Please tell me there is light beyond the storm. Hope is wasted upon the hopeless. I'd open an artery, but all the lanes are blocked with junk. Poison the soul, cry to either of false delusions and oh so empty skies. There is no escape, only but an end. Dreams are but ships that have both equally passed us by. I miss you as I miss myself even more. And into that one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like that one. Have you published that anywhere?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, that's just one that was, it was new and I liked it. So.
Yeah.
I should probably have read something funny, but I thought it was good. It's smooth enough, so.
Yeah, I like this that this kind of became deep cut night because you don't get those.
Yeah, brother. So it's up to you. No,
Okay.
you got your two.
Okay, this is an older one that goes back a little bit, called Awaiting Alien Orders.
Mm.
Lots of catatonics in a small town, up before dawn holding intense conversations with themselves or a street lamp. They scour the sidewalk crevices for cigarette butts and small change. They are held awake at night by all manner of terrors. The bench in front of the pharmacy probably seems a bit safer to them than whatever home is. Many are rejected by the local shelters due to bad behavior or for failure to accept Christ as their personal savior. Some would rather risk it on the street in order to retain the dignity of freedom. Most are as warped as that tinny dirge of a tune the lovesick ice cream truck regurgitates endlessly all summer. They sit in a fetid cluster each morning with their fearless leader, who, clasped in his headphones, smiles blankly, awaiting alien orders. That was based on some real street people that I saw. I had a job where I was up at where I worked from 3 a.m. in the morning, and I would see a lot of the homeless folk and a lot of people, just whoever, stragglers, were out there, and I got to know some of them. Some of them you couldn't know, so it was just, that's what it's. Okay, this is one of the last one that's called A Boy, Part 1. Eye spirals, shock sockets, slip your gravity harness, emanate purity, although it wants to be something more. Boy alone, the sky cloudless, he craves formation, the ground clueless, Sudden seismic charge. Something is unearthed. He craves experience. The rarefied air belies a stillness. The blood calls alarm, yet the senses will not surrender. The boy, heavenly, heinous, needing the myth of apocalypse. A sweet tear, sweat tears him away. He is labeled pariah, a false tag from those in fear of righteous becoming. His skin seeks immolation. A strange vibration finds him. He moves too quickly now. He is more than rebel. He is reducer. He may signify the indeterminate future. He is primal language, succinct and guttural. He orbits above lost oracles, as spark, as dust, as art. He exists to inform life and startle death into total awareness.
Excellent.
Wow.
You know, do you guys ever do this thing where you kind of just like to sit there and just let whatever words kind of come and flow?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
spontaneous prose. Yeah.
That was one of that one actually turned out good for me, I thought. I was proud of that because that's exactly what that was. I had no idea what that was about or what it was going to be. And just this loose boy thing, but you know, who knows where that could have gone. But, and I was really happy because like it just kind of came out and I thought, shit, you know, that worked out all right. It's always great when it works, right?
Yeah. You're right, man. When you just let it go, man, like, automatic writing, it's just that, however you want to call it. I think, that's how I just let it rip most of the time, you know. Sometimes it's kind of plotted out. I don't know. For me, it's always that way. I'm fucking kamikaze. It's like, you know, I'm a train wreck on my best days.
I tried doing that before where I wasn't happy with. I was like, nah, you know, it didn't work. And then you're unhappy and, you know, you're like, oh crap, I'm no good and nothing more. So when that one came out, I thought, okay, well, there we go. That's one time when it came out.
Yeah. Excellent, man. Well, Sky, do you want to, I mean, you should read one of your own.
Well, sure.
Well, I mean, you didn't come to class with the proper materials. That's your fault.
Well, I did though. I'll read two. This first one is from my book called "At the Risk of Repeating Myself." A byproduct of being ignored, invisible, dismissed, and having a differently wired brain. I tell you the same thing over and over, not grasping at that moment that you probably already heard me. But much like I must have the receipt in hand to prove the purchase occurred, the proof of acknowledgement shows me that my words were received. I learned early the overcompensating value of a disclaimer and the gaps in memory of whether what I'm about to say was something you've heard or if I had said it to someone else. So, at the risk of repeating myself, I'll tell you again, then perhaps remember that I did. End of that.
Ooh. Oh, wow, that was great, man. That took my mind on a trip.
No. It was really good.
That's real. That's real.
I do tend to repeat things to people because I don't remember if I've said something because sometimes I say it in my mind and it actually comes out.
Yeah, love it. Love that.
And this other one is not anywhere yet. I actually finished it recently. And it's called What Keeps You Here. I notice you wonder my repeated presence and ardent enthusiasm for being close. What could I possibly get out of it? Language, for all its fascination, cannot adequately articulate my reasons, though I take a moment to try. Wrapped up in you, our borders entwined, or driving the back roads, windows down, listening to music and sharing stories. Feeling a tangible brilliance, warmth from you as my heart, and your heart being my home. The end of that.
Yeah. I like how you know exactly. I like how you're doing what you said we should do, and that is showing how people that have a different mindset or a different wiring can need to be spoken for and spoken to.
No.
I think you're doing that really wonderfully.
Thank you.
I'd say it's cool. I mean, I joke and everybody knows that, but I said it's very excellent being at this press, because I'm very proud of my fellow writers, and you all are really doing great and kicking ass. So yeah, it's just great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more plug for the book. Lost
Yes.
Within the Garden of Heathens, the Kevin M. Hibshman and John Patrick Robbins, out now from Whiskey City Press. Find it on Amazon. Or if you are brave enough to wait, you could possibly inquire with Warner Bolt to autograph, but you good luck coordinating that.
Yeah. That's if you want me knowing your address, because I deliver the book personally. I'm like a Mormon. You don't get the book. You have to get it with me.
There go our sales on that.
Kevin, John, it was really great this last hour plus talking with you guys and my amazing debut.
Skaja, your book too.
Yeah.
Say that again?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Mention your book too.
Oh, my book is Consentia Veritatis. It came out last April, also through Whiskey City Press.
There we go.
Don't always pick up a Whiskey City book. You will not be disappointed. I will say that much.
And also, real quick, keep it to like a minute or so. What's next for you two with projects?
What's next for you?
Go ahead, John.
No. You go first. I know I've got like way too much to list, but you go ahead, man. I know one of your projects on the horizon.
One of them, the only one really on the horizon is I've actually done a book with Merritt Walden that is we did it exquisite corpse style. And in case that's an arcane thing for some people, it just means that we alternated lines so that each piece is. It's not what me and John did. It's the whole piece is by two people. You know what I'm saying? Like alternating lines going back and forth within the piece. So, and it turned out that he took me to, he took me to,
Yeah.
He brought me to Boho, Indiana. So it was quite, it was fun. That's all I'm going to say. It was fun.
Yeah. Merritt's a really great writer, and I would love to have him on the show. And there's a lot of writers, I think, and I definitely went ahead. I think we found our permanent host, so this is great.
Excellent.
Sure, I will clear off a little section of my very overfull plate for
I think you're a natural host at this, way better than I am. That's for sure.
Yeah, excellent job. And I just want to say thank you.
Podcast host.
I just want to say thanks, you guys. You were awesome. You made my Saturday night, so thanks a lot for that. And good luck with all of our projects collectively and separately.
Yeah, I've got to mention mine. So it's like the next song for people to look for will be as far as the press, I would look for this is one I hate to mention because people will start driving me crazy, but I'll mention it anyways. Is the whiskey print? It is technically it's getting ready to be out. And I know all my friends are going to be like, about fucking time, because when I do a print magazine, it will take years. And that's not even a joke. I mean, that's just me. I move way too slow, but the whiskey print, and for me, will be finally the novella will be next. So that's it on my horizon.
And I just want to say too, thanks, John, for taking us along for the ride. I'm really happy to, for making it happen. And you too, Skaja, for all the hard work you've done on that.
Thank you. This is a good Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fun. It really was. It was great.
All right, folks, I'll do it.
And I'm going to take a second and just plug magazines like Raw Whiskey Review, Crossroads, Disturbed the Universe, kind of all Yeah, Distributing this is mine, but we're kind of all sort of under the Whiskey City
Mm-hmm.
head umbrella. So yeah,
The
people you
Dope Fiend
want
Daily,
to
once you,
be out there, just submit the work and like reach out, and maybe we'll do another one of these and
We have to do this again.
get some guest writers on here.
it will be done again, and if people want to be on there, contact us. Don't contact us through Messenger. Feel free to contact us for just title it Live from the Dive at Who the Duck is the Editor at gmail.com. And yeah, let's all do this again. I think we'll have a blast, and thank you all. I'm not trying to host, but I'm trying to, I can't help it. I'm fighting my urges. I'm like Hannibal Lecter. They have to put a little mask on me and a nice, sexy, straight jacket.
And you would probably enjoy that way too much.
Careful what you
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
Thanks for a great show.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, Kevin. It's great talking to you, man. Thank you all, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.